Assalamu alaikum dears, and greetings to all of you. Welcome dears to this video. I would be delighted to provide a brief overview about the rise of Islamic banking. So, let's start our session. The most important question of today's session is that, how did Islamic banking reach this level of growth? Since the collapse of the Soviet Union and rise of new nation-states in 1991, the Muslim republics of Central Asia and the Southern Caucasus have witnessed the arrival of Islamic banking and finance to the region. The Islamic Development Bank (IDB) has been a catalyst for the increased spread of finance projects in the region that are compliant with Islamic principles like no usury or riba. There was an important role of the IDB, other Islamic banking and financial institutions in promoting socio-economic development across the region. Moreover, a majority of the Central Asian and Southern Caucasian republics view Islamic banking and finance as important tools with which to channel the energies of radical Islamic opposition groups. Despite moderate success in the region, the IDB has confronted significant obstacles in trying to propose Islamic finance to these governments because of a strong Soviet legacy and volatile politics. Although the Muslim republics remain influenced by elements from their Soviet past, including a command economy and one-party political system, Islamic banking and finance has grown in the last decade to become a significant force for positive change. In general, the formal organization of Islamic finance could only begin toward the close of the colonial era, and it gained pace once the Muslim lands had won their independence, mostly after the Second World War. Understandably, its forms, instruments and regulatory framework all evolved and still revolve around the prohibition of interest. The most dominant Islamic financial institutions in the modern era are Islamic banks. However, for the most part, the development of Islamic finance, along with takaful, Islamic insurance, lags far behind. Although Islamic banking, along modern lines, emerged around the middle of the 20th century, it gained momentum after the 1960s with the rise of Islamic revivalist movements across the world. However, the growth pattern and structure of the fast-expanding Islamic finance differs from country to country, and common and cohesive elements are yet to be established. The development of Islamic banking comprises three broad elements. 1. Since conventional banks were the common experience, the pioneers of the Islamic banking system naturally based the theory of Islamic banking on similar principles, with the exception of the ban on interest. Their roadmap was dominated by much of the colors they saw around them. 2. This led to a mismatch between the compulsions of the structural choice and the objectives that the Islamic ethos expected a financing system to address. Conventional models suited the short-term liquidity needs of trade, industry and commerce, whereas Islamic finance has to prioritize and make resources available for long-term development goals. Structural diversification now seeks to remedy the situation. 3. Islamic banking was conceived as competing with the mature and large Western banks. This led to a convergence of the Islamic system toward mainstream banking practices in terms of product development and regulatory requirements. The pros and cons of convergence for Islamic finance remain a moot point. The development and growth of Islamic banking and the challenges it faces today, or may face tomorrow, can be better understood and analyzed if these elements are taken into account. Islamic banking, like its mainstream counterpart, is no more than a means of financial intermediation, a neutral means of transmitting funds from those who have them in surplus to those who need them for the parties' mutual benefit. Certainly, Islamic banks also have to play this role, but once we bring their ethical norms and their contribution to Islamic developmental goals into the equation, they have to move beyond mere intermediation. In this point, we reach to the end of today's session. I hope this video provided a good information to you about the rise of Islamic banking. If you are interested in this area, kindly subscribe in the channel because we are planning to provide deep information about Islamic finance. We look forward to your subscribing, your like, as well as your suggestions in the comments. Have a good time and warm regards.